we're super excited to have you guys here. Especially the first of the year is always a good time to kind of start, re-kick our system, the way we do our diet, exercise, chiropractic, because for many of you who already know us, we really want to talk about like who we are as wellness is what I'm trying to say. So that incorporates everything. And it stems from chiropractic, but from there it also is how we fuel our body with our food, our exercise, and our mood and stress level. All those things play a part into our overall health. So this is just a really good program that I personally have done several times. So I will tell you of my successes and my failures because I've had them both. My success has been great. As far as one of the wonderful things that comes when you go through a purification process or a detox process is you literally are detoxing yourself of chemicals and toxins that are just tucked away in your body. So when those do come out, I have like day 3, day 4, literally I just feel like a cloud has been lifted from my brain. I can see clearer, I can think clearly. And those primarily come from carbs. That's a really big heavy toxin that just kind of sits in there. I've noticed that I sleep better, I have a lot more energy, my joints don't ache because I'm not inflamed from all those toxins. And even though you can't say this absolutely you lose weight, it's kind of hard not to if you follow the program, because you're learning how to eat better, you're eating less, and hopefully you're doing all the things that come with it, which includes exercise. So we'll talk about that. So when I have been successful, I've followed the program just like it goes. And I've done the 21-day and I've done the 28-day. That 28-day is really a killer, but it's very effective. In fact, a lot of people will do this program at the beginning of the year before they go and they take their life insurance, blood work and all that kind of stuff, because it cleans your blood and their scores go up and so their insurance goes down. So it's really quite effective. But it's most effective if you start it, you follow it, and you finish it. Because if you start it and then you don't finish it, you've kind of released through the products. They help get those toxins out of your organs. But then if you don't follow it through, you've just gotten the toxins out and then they're just swimming around in your body. So you have to follow it all the way through so that you can expel them. And so I've done it where I didn't plan properly and I really wasn't into it. And so I quit halfway through, and actually I was a lot worse after than when I started, because at least those toxins were tucked away, but I got them out and they're all swimming around inside of me, and then they just kind of hung out for a while. I felt terrible, and then they went back into the organs. So you really want to prepare, and that's going to be one of the big things we'll talk about today, and I want to help you with that. I want to give you some practical suggestions to do that, because that is really a key to the success of this program. So, like I said, our whole purpose here is wellness. So I'm going to let Jason talk about chiropractic from that standpoint of our immune system. So today we're going to focus in on our immune system and how this all plays together. So I've given him a time of 5 minutes.
A lot of you might not know that my name is Jason. You know me by Dr. Cliff. Actually, it's funny, when I was named, Jason means healer. And my parents didn't realize that when they named me. Yeah, pretty cool. So as you know my background story. Now, one of the things with how to eat, what Diane was talking about is, gosh, there's so many different choices. There's fast choices. There's, the choices you can cook at home, but just how to do it. That's where this program really kind of trains you how to make better choices and even meal plans. It's really cool with all this, but just like taking care of your vehicle, if you put the right fuel in the vehicle, it's great, but if you don't take care of the engine, then it doesn't matter if you put even the most expensive gasoline in it. The car isn't going to run if the engine isn't running. And that's where the foundation of what we do here, and what I've seen, kind of the hierarchy of how to take care of yourself, that the most important thing is your nervous system. That controls everything. Every cell, tissue, organ in your body. Now I was talking about detoxing. That's all controlled by your brain. Now, definitely nutrition, the positive attitude, trying to keep yourself peaceful. Stress is another one of those big things, but if your nervous system isn't functioning, even if you're peaceful, stress-free, and you impinge your nervous system, you guys half of you will understand this. You guys remember Superman, Christopher Reeve, where he was injured? You remember that story from '95? Some of us weren't born yet, so with that, he fell off his horse, hit his head, and it knocked the top joint in his neck out by 3 millimeters, about that far. So tiny amount, and it cut off the information from his brain going to his organs. His heart stopped beating, his lungs stopped breathing, his bowels stopped working, and he couldn't move any arms or legs. He was quadriplegic. And it was just because of medical personnel, there was emergency there that beat his heart for him. Now, once they got him to the hospital, he had to have an iron lung breathing for him, pacemaker, he had physical therapists moving on his joints. Now, even though he was extremely wealthy, he could afford the top medical care possible. And if you remember the picture of him, how he deteriorated quickly, didn't matter they were doing all the exercises for him. His muscles atrophied, his organs deteriorated, and not that that's a health thing, his hair all fell out, that's deteriorated down. And it was sad seeing what happened to him. He finally passed away because his body just gave out. Now, the interesting thing, he's not the only one that's had an injury like that. There's a friend of mine that his dad had the same thing. He was in the military, he's actually a Marine, and he was knocked in the head, fell off his vehicle, landed on his head, and he was knocked unconscious, and same thing happened to him. He deteriorated, quadriplegic. They got him out of the military, and he was in his wheelchair, quadriplegic, and his mom went to see a chiropractor, and she said, "I'm gonna take you," and he's like, "No." Mad? No. What's that gonna do? Finally, he's like, "Whatever, I'll try anything." Went and started getting adjusted. Now, they didn't have a ton of money to do all the crazy medical stuff. They did the simple thing of just getting pressure off the nerve, and over the next several years, he got all the feeling back, his organs started functioning. He actually went to school to become a chiropractor and changed his life. Now, there's 12 chiropractors in his family. And one of the kids that we know, he's the son, he's like, I say my life is dependent on chiropractic because my dad wasn't adjusted, I wouldn't be here. And it's just phenomenal, but that's the two different paths you can go on. Trying to rely on drugs and surgery, or the more natural approach, getting the pressure off the nervous system to allow the body to heal. Now, once we get the pressure off, then fueling it right, yes, that's super important. And that's where we see there's a balance here, but there's a hierarchy. It's, again, I feel the same way about my faith in Jesus, that, man, you can be wealthy, you can have all this stuff. If you don't have faith in Jesus, what does it matter? You know, you're gonna waste it all. All this stuff on this earth is gonna burn after we're gone. So that's where that's most important. So hierarchy, Jesus first, nervous system, nutrition, so that's where we go down. So that's where it's super important. That's what everybody here, if you're not into chiropractic care, getting a free evaluation, that's my commitment, is to see, is there any stress on your nervous system? And I love your enthusiasm to be here on a Saturday morning when it's so cold to educate yourself, because so many people are just sleeping in and just eating a ton of carbs and just think, whatever, what is it? You know, eat, drink, be merry, for tomorrow we're gonna die. They just don't care. But you guys do care, and it's awesome, and we love that. Diane is just passionate about nutrition. I'm passionate about chiropractic, so that's where we're a good team. And what we're gonna do again is offer you a free evaluation, but Diane has some prizes too, because she has some exciting things to go over with you. Now, again, Diane didn't tell you her background. She was a professional ballerina for many, many years, and how she got introduced to chiropractic. Her ankle was thrown out of alignment, and she couldn't go up on point anymore. Went to all the physical therapists, and the doctor finally told her, it's like, you just have to stop dancing. And this was her life. She has a degree in ballet. She's danced with the Atlanta Ballet, Dayton Ballet, Georgia Ballet. She's been all over. But he said, you just have to stop. It's like, well, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, you just have to stop breathing. If breathing hurts, just stop. Talking about. So it was interesting. God finally was recommended to a doctor that adjusted her ankle, and the next weekend she was back up on point dancing. and it was just miraculous. And that's what, I met her later on, that wasn't me, by the way. I met her later on, and it was just neat where she truly sees the benefit of chiropractic for even performing, and now she's graciously helping us with nutrition. So thank you so much. I'll let her take over.
So, yeah, I really want to hone in, especially this time of year and after COVID, all that kind of thing has kind of changed everybody's mentality about our immunity, which is very, very important. And so having our central nervous system working properly so that the information gets from our brain to all of our organs and is telling us how to stay, it's telling our body how to stay healthy. But then when we feed ourselves that way, it all works together. So, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to confess here a little bit that I've been sick after Christmas. And it was because, even though I'm under great chiropractic care, I had a lot of sugar, which when you have 1 teaspoon of sugar, it knocks your immune system down for 4 hours. And how much do we eat that has more than a teaspoon of sugar in it, right? So I had done too much sugar over Christmas, lots of stress, not exercising. So, and then I got exposed to something really bad when we were on vacation, and boom, it like set in. So I've taken care of it naturally. It's all been under chiropractic, and I've just been feeding myself well. I haven't taken any drugs. I've just been doing homeopathic stuff, and it's kicked. But all these things, I say that because all these things play together, right? It's not that we're never going to be sick, but when we fight it off naturally, then we boost our immune system, so the next time we come in contact with it, it makes us stronger to fight it off. So, just wanted to start that off. I want to give you a lot of information today, but if you have questions, I'll try not to go too long so we can do some Q&A at the end, because I really want to give you practical stuff to go over. So, this 21-day purification is just that. You're purifying, you're getting that stuff out of your system. So the way the program works, we'll go through and we'll detail how it works exactly. But this is how we're going to do it, is through this purification. Oh, I can still this stuff.
Nope.
Okay, so here's some of the things. If we're experiencing, how many of us, oh, thanks, Dave. How many of us are experiencing food cravings or weight gain?
Can you skip a little bit over here?
Oh, this way? Oh, there you go. Is that better? Okay, so food cravings and weight gain. Anybody have any of that? Especially sugar. I will tell you, that is something, it's amazing. After you go through this program, when you deny yourself, which there's so much even spiritually on that, like you learn to really deny yourself on things, because we just don't do that. It's like, if I want it, I'm going to do it. I'm thinking, this is going to help my social media, this is going to help everything. Because you start one thing, it'll just kind of carry over. So sugar cravings will go away after you do this program if you stick to it. Reduce mental clarity. Anybody? All right. Fatigue or difficulty sleeping. Struggle with that? Okay. Joint discomfort. You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh man, my knees, my hips, my elbows, shoulder. There you go. Skin issues. You know, sometimes you break out in rash periodically. I noticed that when I'm detoxing. I noticed that as I was coming out of this, that I had, and some of the homeopathic stuff I took, it was pulling those toxins out of my body, and it shows up as a rash. Indigestion and other temporary gastrointestinal upset, that's a big thing that really helps with this program. And then low libido. So these are all by toxins, right? So again, we can be taking care of ourselves, but if we're feeding ourselves bad fuel, this is what the outcome is going to be. So we are going to talk about those, as well as these toxins are also those extra stresses. The emotional stress, these chemical stresses, physical stresses also play a part in this. So here we talk about all these different toxins. There are 80,000 chemicals that our government has said is fine to put into our food or spray on our food, which is really interesting. You know, you think America's like the leading country, used to be, and all of our stuff is safe, but yet you look at Europe, there are a lot of things. Our son was, you know, in other countries in the Marines, and there are foods that they won't even let them eat over there, which we're totally like, go for it. A lot of them are pesticides. And I know buying organic, food is expensive anyway, and organic is like, really? And it's a good thing. I should have printed up a list. I'm sorry I didn't do that. But there are certain foods that you should be eating organic, and then there are certain ones there's no need. Do we really need to buy organic bananas, organic oranges? Those are thick-skinned. You don't really need to do that. Certain things you do. Berries, broccoli, cauliflower, celery, potatoes, those types of things are important to buy organic. So just some of that kind of stuff you can kind of think, if it has a really thin skin, I probably want to buy organic. Meat is very important that you get grass-fed, not just organic. Organic can be, we feed them organic corn, but we don't want them to have corn. So grass-fed is the best when it comes to meat. But here you can see there are household cleaners, and you know, there are so many great things that you can just make. The big thing I said at the beginning was, when I failed before was because I didn't prepare. We're gonna start this on February 1st, so we have plenty of time to prepare. And in that preparation, you can make your own. So many things you can make on your own now. I was like, man, I've got a lot of dust in my house. And I found this recipe of water, a couple drops of soap, olive oil, vinegar, and some essential oils. You spray that on your dust cloth and you dust everything. It kind of repels the dust. That's just a simple thing. There are other simple things that you can use to clean in your house. One of the best things is vinegar and lemon. And yet we buy all this stuff that's tucked with all this bleach, and we don't need all of that stuff. So those toxins really come into play and can harm us when that, especially in the shower, because think you're in there, it's hot, then you're breathing in all those chemicals. Okay, so then preservatives, and I'm going to the left. Preservatives and additives. Oh my goodness, how many of us read labels? Okay, good. Very important. And then you need to know what those things mean, because they don't all say what they really are. Yeast extract, that's really another name for MSG. You know, there's so many things, so it's important. I would think that the less ingredients there are, the better it is for you. I don't have our book, Body by God, but Dr. Ben Lerner is our consultant, has been almost from the beginning of our practice, and still is to this day. And he wrote a book called Body by God years ago, and I love it. There's so many great things in there. Yes.
He still looks like this.
Well,
this was like 25 years ago, and he still looks like this.
Pretty much. Super great Christian guy. And he says, which I've never forgotten, the farther away the food is from the way God made it, the worse it is for you. An apple is good, right? Even though it has a lot of sugar, if you eat it in its entirety, it has fiber, it has carbohydrates, it has sugar, and all those things work together to break down and be used in your body effectively. But when you take an apple and you turn it into apple juice, all you have is high concentrated sugar, so that's not good. Potatoes, really not the best because they're white, they usually tend to turn to sugar. But even so, there's still some benefit to potatoes. But then when you turn them into French fries, not so good. So see, the further you take it away from the way God made it, the worse it is for you. Air and water pollutants. Okay, here's a big thing that we do, especially over Thanksgiving and Christmas. I love to burn candles in my house. I've kind of gone to the click, 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 you know, the ones that you just run by your remote control is healthier for you. Pesticides and insecticides. So our one daughter, years ago when we lived over in Grand Blanc, we were in a subdivision that was surrounded by fields. And I noticed every spring and fall, she would kind of puff up and gain weight. And I thought, that's really weird. So we did some testing with her, found out that's when they were spraying the fields. And what's it called? Roundup. They were spraying Roundup on there. And so she was getting those toxins. Now the other kids didn't have that. So it's just how our bodies are different. We don't all respond the same. Like I said, I was sick. Nobody else in my family or anybody around me got sick. So it just depends on us individually. So those can have a real effect on us. Then we have heavy metals. Those come from vaccines. Heavy metals are, there's a great book we have over there called The Shot in the Dark, talks about vaccines, but that's what they put in vaccines a lot, along with other things. Certain personal care products, right? So that's big. Shampoo, soap, all that kind of stuff. And then dyes and paint. So it's all around us. Now, years ago when I was deep, our kids were younger, I had actually a little more time, maybe not, but anyway, I was delving deep into all of this and really trying to make all these things happen. And honestly, it was kind of driving me crazy And I thought, I can't do this. I can't live this way. I can't protect ourselves enough. So finally I got to the point where I was like, Lord, I'm gonna do the best that I can, be wise with what you've given me, and then just pray and ask him to do the rest, because it is impossible. And even now, so it's hard. You can't go out to eat. You can't buy enough healthy food. Our soil is so depleted of nutrients now. It's hard to even get food. You have to take supplements. If you're not taking a good supplement, you're just missing vitamins and minerals that you desperately need. It's not even a choice anymore because our food doesn't even produce what it used to. So yeah, standard process does have this, which we do. I will tell you this, and it has your Catalin, which is your multivitamin. It has tuna omega, which is your oils, and then it has trace mineral, which are the minerals that we need. That's like for the rest of our life, we'll take those. That's just our standard procedure. I'll talk about standard process in a minute, but anyway, so that's good. You can flip to the next page, right? Oh, no, before we do that, I forgot about a prize. Okay, so your first page that you filled out was a short little, toxic load. Looks like this. Did you all finish that? Okay. So, how many scored yes on 11 of them? Don't be ashamed, it's okay. We're all educated. Anybody get 11 yeses? Because you get a prize. No? Okay. How many got 10? Anybody have 10 yeses? Ellie? Well, guess what, Ellie? You get a prize. There's a shaker bottle for your shakes. All right? 9? Oh, you guys are good. 8?
I had 9.
9, okay. 9, 8, 7? 6? 5? Oh, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot of people getting 5. 4? 3? 2? Anybody have 1 or none? Okay, so what was my lowest one? 3 or 2? Who had 2? 3. All right, you 3 get prize. Right? Were you one of them? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, you're so welcome. Thank you. All right, so those are things that you may not. Did any of them surprise you necessarily, or were you just kind of like, yeah, I kind of figured I shouldn't have that? Yeah. Anything? Nope. Okay. All right, so that's just your general one that is around us for our toxin. Then we have.
Oh, wait a minute, can we go back? You just said, did anything surprise you? And I had
Yes.
to look at the char, broil, or grilled foods. I guess that did a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I've heard things, but what do you know?
It's the blackened. Like a lot of times you'll go to a restaurant and they're like, you can have it blackened. Jason, can you specify that for me?
It's when you take it and you burn it.
Oh.
So that's where, just like, what do? Do you want to burn your oil when you're cooking something because it makes it toxic? So that's where you should not do it. Yes.
I have a George Foreman. I don't put anything on the grill, and I put it in there, but I do like it to be, sometimes the outside of it to be a little done. Is that gonna affect it?
And again, the more black, just think black is toxic. That's burnt. So that's where brown is different. When you take the black, just think of toast. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's nice and brown. That's toasted. As soon as you get black, okay,
Yeah, mine
now you've actually burnt
Okay.
it.
I
And-
think
Okay.
black and salmon was the seasoning.
Correct. You're absolutely right. Seasoning is different.
Mhm.
Burning it is the
Okay.
is the
Okay.
problem.
I
And that's
know.
what you're absolutely right. No, the spices, that's totally different. The hotter the spice, the better it is for
Yes.
you. And that's, some people can't stand it, but it's really good for you, the real heavy spices.
Yeah, absolutely. I just made a master tonic. I was telling Kim about this. Oh boy, it was potent because I was fighting this thing off. So I took like fresh horseradish root, about this much, and then a bunch of fresh ginger root, a bunch of turmeric root, which is now stained my food processor, 5 onions, 4 heads of garlic, a ghost pepper, and 4 peppers. I ground all that stuff up, and then I covered it in apple cider vinegar, and it's fermenting for 2 weeks. But I'll tell you what, I know it sounds horrible. It smelled so horrific. But I have been taking about an ounce of that a day, and it does. because those are anti-inflammatories. Those are like everything I read, those are the spices that you need to have, and we don't do that, and we don't ferment things anymore. So that's also a great probiotic, right? So yeah, those are good. As he was talking about oils, olive oil is not a good one to heat high. Coconut oil is going to be your good one, or grapeseed oil. Okay, so the other one that I had you fill out was that next toxicity, and that one's pretty heavy, and there's a lot of stuff on there. So I'll give you, have you guys started that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're gonna start, there's a backside, and then you can add up. And I'll give you some more time at the end to fill this out. We'll do another prize at the end of that. But that's really helpful to see where you are toxic, and especially where it shows up. You know, it could be that you get headaches. It could be that you're dizzy. It could be that your ears ring. You ever notice sometimes like, why are my ears ringing? Okay, so these are things to be aware of, because I will tell you, as you go through this, if you really follow the plan, you will actually maybe have some of those things come about. I've done it where I'm like, why are my fingertips peeling? It's part of toxins being released. Sometimes, and even in this one, because I've been detoxing, as I've been, you know, getting over and having all this extra homeopathic stuff, is your teeth kind of feel like there's, sounds kind of gross, kind of feels like there's a sheen over them. Like, what is that? You know, when you eat a lot of sugar, that your teeth kind of feel like there's something on them. When you're detoxing, you'll feel that as well. Sometimes your breath will be bad.
It's just temporary.
It's just temporary. And it's just because, thank goodness, you're getting all that stuff out. Because, you know, we have such an amazing body that God made for us, and it's made to heal itself. We just put stuff in its way. So we're trying to get all that stuff out of the way. All right, so quick, pass that one, please. And pass the next one. Oh yeah, it did talk about coffee. All right, so any coffee drinkers in here? How much coffee? Like a lot of coffee?
A lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee, okay. Well, I'm gonna offer you this instead. If you need the caffeine, okay? We have these over there. And the caffeine comes from green tea, which actually in this cleanse, it's kind of like drink your smoothies, drink fresh water, which is as pure as it can be, and green tea. So this at least gives you a little bit of flavor in your water and gives you some energy, especially if when you don't have coffee, you get a headache because you need that caffeine. No, you don't?
No.
Okay.
Found off coffee and it didn't give you a headache?
I drink 5, 6, 7, never get a headache, never get withdrawal. I get the coffee, I get, you know, this, but I gotta have a coffee.
Right.
You got another problem,
That's
not
interesting.
coffee.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Usually if you go off for 2 days, your body starts to detoxify. Well,
Never
you're
Well, that's
closer to
good, because you
Jesus than
shouldn't
I am.
have
That's-
coffee, so this is your time to cut it out of your diet.
I disagree.
Yes.
I've never been a coffee drinker.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was drinking it to have a cup with my husband in the morning with a lot of creamer. But, I recently found a product that is made from mushrooms. It's 6 different kinds of mushrooms, including lion's mane and reishi and a couple of different ones.
Uh-huh.
And they've blended into a coffee product.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a real bad inflammation on this finger to the point where it was red and you couldn't really even touch that joint.
Uh-huh.
It was awful. But the article about this coffee said that it would really help with inflammation because of the mushrooms.
Right.
And I don't like mushrooms.
Uh-huh.
I won't eat them because they taste like rubber, like I'm chewing on plastic.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, well, maybe I won't like it, but I'll try it. So I did. And you can see my finger's no longer red. It's still sometimes a little tender, but I can touch it, use it, everything, and almost bend it all the way down from mushrooms.
Yeah. I haven't done a lot of research on that, but I know that that's really been a very therapeutic way. And I'm just gonna look here to see if that's one of the vegetables that we can eat on here. I hope so.
There's so many.
There are a lot of, are you looking?
No, but you're-
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to. So I used to drink coffee too, and I would only have 1 cup in the morning. That's it. I had a little coffee with my creamer. And so I quit taking that because I was like, man, I couldn't believe how much it inflamed me. So I stopped drinking that. I started drinking this stuff called Dandy Blend, which you can get on Amazon, and it's chicory root.
Oh, like
it
in
has-
New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, it's really quite tasty. I still put my almond creamer in there, which I'm gonna have to give up for the cleanse. But it's the hot drink in the morning. So, but you know what, I can switch over to tea. I'm really a tea purist, so like I don't have to add all that extra stuff. So this is kind of your time to try that. If you can cut it out, this is the time to do that. So here's what this purification program looks like. So I have 2 of those here of what you get in the program. So it has lots of different options as far as this is your basic powder. And this will last you at least 30 days. The program's only 21 days, but this will probably last you 30 days. And you put, if you have the vanilla or the chocolate, it takes 4 scoops. If you just do the straight SP Complete, which is no flavor, it's only 2 scoops. But you just put this in your smoothie every day. And you can use it in baking other things like these date balls. It actually, I put this in there. It called for the fiber, which I didn't use. But this, and what this stuff does,
Can I give them a piece so they know what's in it?
yes, I just don't think I have enough of
We have
those. So couples might share, girls might share.
This shows what's in it.
So yes, the SP Complete helps you, and I'm just gonna read what it has in here and I'll follow along with what you guys
Thank you.
have there too.
We've got one more, so.
So if you flip to, I don't have that page.
That's the 4th page. And it is page, sorry, 13.
Page 13.
Oh, 13.
So this detox supports your body's natural metabolic detoxification process. So you might look at this and go, especially when we talk about price, because it is not, I'm gonna tell you, it's not super cheap. I wanna give you guys a good deal, like about, what, like 30% off today? Because it's important, and if I was sitting in your seat, I'd be thinking, can't I just like change my diet? I don't need to get all this stuff. Honestly, that's what I'd be thinking. But the reason and it's only this 21 day, it's like it teaches you how to do it, and then you don't have to, it's not like you have to do this for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but
Which-
why wouldn't you? Because you're gonna get intoxicated again if.
Well,
Okay,
in a
you can
sense,
tell me now.
that's,
Okay.
in a sense, Peggy, but this actually like purifies
Yeah.
you, but then it also teaches you how to eat properly. So then you're not feeding yourself all the stuff you were. So the purpose of this is to help get those toxins
Cleanse,
out of your
okay.
system. Yes. So it helps.
This is 70 years.
Yeah, wouldn't it take a while?
So once you get rid of that must make a huge difference in your body.
It does make a huge difference. I mean, like, you feel so much better. You literally feel lighter. You're like, I cannot tell you how amazing it is. I remember driving home thinking, man, I can think clearly. And I noticed that. I even noticed when I go to a dentist to get my teeth cleaned, when I've been doing the program and I go, she's like, wow, I don't have any plaque to take off your teeth. Nothing to scrape off. But when I've been eating a regular junk diet, they're like, you got so much plaque on your teeth. So yeah, it makes such a difference. You just gotta follow it. Just follow it. Like, this is just 21 days, I can do it.
One last thing, just to speak what you're talking about, Peggy. Doing this once, like you said, makes a big difference, but just like getting your teeth cleaned, doing it once a year or every other year is good.
It
Just
is.
like getting your teeth cleaned.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to do it all the time, but
Right.
like I said, once every other year. is
Yeah,
great.
it's not like this is a diet program where you're stuck buying all this stuff for the rest of your life. I just want to encourage you that way. It also gives you protein. So there is some protein in here. You can do additional protein if you need to. It's amino acids are in here. It's great for iron. It just has all the things that you need as you're detoxing. Okay, so that's that. Then there are 2 types of fiber. I suggest the whole food fiber. This goes into your shakes. So when you drink your shakes, I would recommend you don't sip them, drink them. Like, sit down, drink your shake in like 5 or 10 minutes because it's fiber. So fiber goes whoop like this. And so it's just a little bit harder to drink your shake if you meander through your shake. But the whole food fiber is more effective in the cleanse. It's all organic. It's just much better for you. If you just cannot handle that, they do have capsules, but as Jason was saying, they're like pretty big capsules, okay? Sometimes this can cause you to be a little gassy. So
Just 21.
just plan on that for a little bit. And okay, I'm going to gently, ladylike, cover this subject, okay? So, when you're doing a cleanse, actually a healthy thing you should have 2 to 3 bowel movements every day. So if you're having them every other day, a couple times a week, I mean, I have a family member, she's like, oh yeah, twice a week. I'm like, girlie, that is not healthy. That's your body's cleaning yourself out. You're getting all these toxins and they're coming out. So you're gonna notice it. Okay, so just plan it. It's not like you're gonna hang out in the bathroom every day, but you should probably go 2 or 3 times a day. That's healthy. Okay. Water intake I'm gonna touch on in a minute. That will also help that process. Now, along with that, I'm sorry to say it's just true, is you will be taking a lot of capsules through this. If you flip through there, right to page 14. It tells you. Okay, so you're gonna start off with the SP Cleanse, and you take 7 of these 3 times a day. You can do it. I know, you can do it. So I just take them with the shake at and I do my shake for breakfast. You know, you can do it how you want, but for me, I'm like, just make it quick and simple. I just want to hammer through this thing. So 7 of these 3 times a day, day 1 through 10. Then, starting day 11 through 21, you switch over to the green food. So this is literally helping you cleanse, get those toxins out. So your phases are, first you're unlocking. So this helps you really unlock all those toxins, and then they also help to change those fat soluble to water soluble, so that by the time you get to the green food, that helps you expel all those toxins, okay? The green food you take 5, I think it's 3 times a day, or is it 2 times?
2 times.
2 times.
Okay.
So that's what this program consists of. And then it comes with that booklet that you have, which is very, very helpful. If you flip to the back page, it gives you a rip-off of, take that to the grocery store, and those are the veggies you can have, those are the fruits, all the condiments, all that kind of thing. And so I will just tell you again, back to the farther away the food is from the way God made it, the worse it is for you. Colorful. Like I see how this is colorful over here? That's what we want. White potatoes, really not good. There are some good things in there that you need. God made them, so there's a purpose for them. But that's not your go-to, and it's not on your list. Sweet potatoes are on your list because they're orange. They have a lot of good things in there. Corn is another one. Corn instantly turns into sugar. I know, sorry. We pretty much just take corn out of our diet. Potatoes, that's a little harder. Over here, there are gonna be times when you're gonna be desperate. Here's what I tend to crave, is I tend to crave a crunch. Because you can't have nuts, you can't have beans, you can't have cheese, dairy. So I'm like, can I just have something? There was a time, I think, Ezekiel bread. I was like, day 11, can I have Ezekiel bread? But they've changed the way they make Ezekiel bread now, and now they put wheat in it, so that's out the door. So I just wanted to give you a couple options. You have to be really smart when you go to the grocery store. So if you're desperate, you need a crunch, these just have sweet potatoes, beets, expeller pressed canola oil, and safflower or sunflower oil. Sunflower, not really the best, but if you're desperate, don't fall off the wagon, but you can have something like this, okay? Colorful, good, not colorful, not good. All right, so those are the things that are in your program. If you really need to have protein, Jace, he has to have protein. He's so physical in here, he's got to have it. So I will do an additional, it's an additional product that's either whey protein, which is a dairy, which he cannot do. Now they do one that's a veggie or a pea protein, and he can do that one. So if you need to do that because you can't have protein those first 10 days, no meats, if you need that additional protein, you can do it through a whey protein or a pea protein. All right, so next slide. So I just went through the SP Cleanse, the SP Complete, the SP Green Food, and then the Fiber. No, the next one. Thank you. And then we can talk to you individually too. I will tell you, when I do this, I take another product called LiveCo, which is from MediHerb. So it's a little bit more intense than Standard Process. It's from Standard Process. It's just herbs rather than food. All of Standard Process is food. So it's great. You can't OD on this stuff. It's just food. We've been to their farm in Wisconsin. It's beautiful. I'll go into that because you might get to go. and their stuff is all organic. And Jason went out on the farm, it's like you sink down in the soil. It's wonderful. So their stuff is very, very good. But I take Livco because that helps my liver in that detox process. It's just sometimes I felt that kind of taxed. So as I'm detoxing, I'll take that Livco, so that kind of helps to push that. So we can talk to you individually if you have any issues with liver, kidney, intestine. If you don't have a gallbladder, there are some things you'll need for support on that. Not a big deal, but just a little something to add for that. If you have a real issue with sweets, you know, you're really struggling with, I can't give up the sugar, there's a product called Gymnema, which helps curb that craving. And then if you need to add it somewhere, that's where your stevia comes into play. Okay, so you can do that. All right, Jason, can flip to the next one. And then day 11, you get to have meat. You're just like, give me to 11, give me to 11. I'm not even a big meat eater, but when I do this, I'm looking for day 11. Usually because I want eggs, but eggs aren't the best. I am a 2-egg, we talked about this in class, I'm a 2-egg every morning woman. Every morning I have 2 eggs, so I'm already kind of mentally preparing. I don't like cold in the morning, and I don't like sweet. He does this smoothie every day of his life. It's just what he does, he's good with it, but he's more on the sweet side, I'm more on the savory side. So some things you just kind of have to mentally get yourself ready. That's why I said we're starting February 1st to prepare ourselves. But when you do the meat, make sure it's clean meat. If you're doing fish, don't just pick it up at the regular. There's a really good meat market on Corona Road. I can't remember what the name of it is, on that side of 23. And it's really fresh fish, fresh caught. And I think their salmon comes from Alaska. So you want to get that. You don't want to get your fish out of our lakes, right? Because they're full of iron. And the meat, if you can get grass-fed beef, and if you can get organic chicken, that's always your best way to go. It's almost better to not even have it than to have it if you just go and pick up the cheapest meat in the grocery store, because it's going to be full of toxins. They're just feeding those chickens corn and shoving them in. It's just not good. We had a patient one time I think he delivered chickens, and he said, wasn't it, he went to the chicken.
No, he picked up chickens from Tyson, and these were, you know, now everything's chicken wings, right? The Buffalo Wild Wings, everything. And he said the crates of chickens that he was delivering to the manufacturer where they chop them all up and all that, he said one of the crates fell over and broke open and all the chickens went out, and he said the chickens couldn't walk. He said the chickens had and some of them had 3-4 legs instead of 2. He said it was like genetically, he was like, oh my gosh.
And their breasts were so huge.
They couldn't walk.
Yeah.
He said it's like they genetically modified these things to where they're Franken chickens. And it's like, oh my goodness. And that's what, when you're eating that, and the same thing, and I get this all the time, it's like, what's the big deal of feeding, you know, chickens corn or
Soy.
Right, well, or the cow's corn. What's the big deal? They actually have studies with this. A cow is made to eat grass. That's what a cow's supposed to eat. Graze, grass. Now, when you look at cow meat that eats grass, it has the same amount of omega-3 fatty acids, the good oils, as fish does. So, you know, it's, we're supposed to have fish oil. That's what's in here, is fish oil. But the cow has that when it eats grass. Now, you feed the cow grain, corn, no longer does it have omega-3 fatty acids. Now the meat is actually acidic, and that's what makes you sick. And even the cows, they have a hard time keeping them alive when they feed them grain because of how sick they are. They're constantly on medications and pumping them full of antibiotics because they're so sick, because they're not giving them the right diet. So that's where, you know, you feed a kid this breakfast cereal 24 hours a day. How healthy is that kid gonna be? You know, it's not healthy. We're supposed to eat vegetables, but kid wants to eat, you know, the Rice Krispies and all the stuff. You know, that's not healthy. So that's where, if the animal's sick, you're gonna be sick. If you've got a Franken chicken, it's doing crazy stuff to you too. So.
Yeah. So I wanted to add too, in those shakes, I just picked this up at Walmart, I think. Actually, Walmart, you know, now stores carry a lot better, they have a lot more choices for organic and good things. So he puts this in his shake every day, and you can certainly do it because it has flax, chia, and hemp. Now, I'm not a big CBD hemp person, but it's in here and I know that it is good for you. And it is ground, so that's good. You can just put a tablespoon in your smoothie. That's just extra protein.
Hemp is different, it's just for fiber, it has no of the
Right.
marijuana stuff.
See?
You know, some people hear that, yeah, it's.
That's not why
what
he's
I'm
always
doing. Oh, that's
high
what I'm
energy.
talking about.
Yeah.
That's how I
Boom,
get all
boom,
the
And my shake that I do every morning, I'm not doing these every morning. What I do for my shake, I have either strawberries or blueberries, like my one this morning, a bunch of blueberries, frozen kale, I couldn't find that. I was like, where is it? I
That was
had it
green
for
here.
stuff. So, and then I like sweet. I actually, cause I will do this, I'll put this as my sweetener, cause all this is sweetened with is stevia.
Mhm.
So that's it, and it's got a bunch of B vitamins in it and everything else. So there's, and okay, talking to kids, typically you guys like downing coffee or energy drinks. Like there's my kids, like everybody in school is doing tons of it. So you have friends that they're doing that. This is a great alternative. So if you've got kids that are doing a ton of those energy drinks, terrible for them. Those are awful, toxic. Oh, it's crazy. Kids are having heart attacks because it's like crazy high caffeine. This is a milder version of that, but it's awesome. This is what I've turned a lot of people, even from drinking coffee, to these. These are great, and they're like $1 a packet. Some of those energy drinks are like $3, $4, $5. They're doing it's crazy.
Yeah,
So,
it's
all right, sorry.
Thank you. And then tahini is some, and I put these in those balls too. It actually kind of tastes like peanut butter, but all it is sesame seeds. Sesame seeds that are ground. I tried to make some off a recipe I found online. It was horrible. I threw it all out. But you know, like this is from Greece. I mean, it's not bad. So there are some things now that you can find. But I want to encourage you that when you go to the grocery store, again, it comes back to planning. There are things that you can just make at home. I mean, I was gonna buy salsa because I was just, honestly, it was running out of time. And so I thought, oh, I'll pick some up. Sure enough, second ingredient, sugar. So there's so many of those things we just can make at home. And we used to do that kind of thing, but we get busy and so we just run out and we make it. So planning. Next thing, please. Okay, another very important part of this cleanse is your water. Okay, all those toxins are being released in your body. You gotta flush them out. And a big side effect that people get when they start this is a headache. It's just because they're dehydrated. So make sure you're drinking your water. Yesterday, I had my water downstairs and I set my timer for every hour, go fill your water bottle. And it was like, I was like, I'm working on something that's like 2 hours. I'm like, wow, I did not finish this bottle in 2 hours. So if you have to put it on your timer, make sure you're drinking your water. I think it's like half your weight in ounces. Yep, so there you go. So very, very important to get those toxins out is with water. Next one is exercise. Okay, so, and especially those of you who are patients, that whole body vibration is your friend because it gets everything moving. That's one of the things when I was sick that I was told, do the whole body vibration. Like my lymph system was having a hard time getting all these toxins out. Get on the whole body vibration. Get on the water table.
Whole body vibration. So you know,
Sorry.
some of you don't know what whole body vibration is. It's a vibrating plate. It every muscle you contract when you're on it, it's like a 10-to-1 ratio. Every minute you're on, it's like 10 minutes working out with weights. It's the coolest thing. It actually came from the space program that astronauts, when they're weightless, that they lose muscle mass, bone density. So they were trying to find what can we do weightless to really increase. Americans did more of the weights and weight training. The Russians did whole body vibration, and the Russians are the one that beat us with longevity. That the Russians, when they came back from space, were healthier. The Americans, when they got off, some of these guys in the longer space travel, they got out of the capsule, they got out of the helicopter that picked them up, they jumped off onto the deck, and they broke their legs because the bone density had dropped so badly just jumping out this far, their legs broke. So that's where they found whole body vibration actually stimulates people that have bone loss, that this stimulates bone growth. It increases muscle mass, actually helps to detoxify what Diane was talking about, helps move your lymph, really get this stuff out. It has some really cool effects. It's awesome stuff to really get your body circulating, moving, helps balance hormones. It's really cool.
So obviously you're not gonna come in here and do that every day. So what can you do in the meantime? You know what? walking, it's freezing outside. If you can do it, awesome, do that. If you're going up and down your stairs, do that. If you can just do jumping jacks, do that. If you've got an elliptical, do your elliptical, but get yourself moving. You've got to get yourself moving. All those things work together to make this program successful. If you just sit on your bum and you're eating this, it's not really going to be as effective, okay? So I want to encourage you that way. Last page here. On your stack of stuff, can you give me the little trifold? I keep saying we're going to start this February 1st. Okay, that's when we're going to start it. I'm currently doing, and actually we're doing this here, we're doing the Bible recap. Anybody heard of that? It's an app. You read through the Bible in a year and you read through it chronologically, and Tirley Cobble does it. It's really great. Well, I did it last year, and this year I'm doing it again, but I'm doing it with a group of friends. So every day we're like commenting on what'd you get out of this, what did God show you here, and it's very encouraging when you're doing it with a group. Lone survivors, man, that's hard. So we're doing this together. So anybody who signs up and wants to join us, you can look at this. This is a program that they will send you, standard process, you sign up online, and they will send you an encouraging email every day, right? So just some good stuff that's really encouraging to help you go through. They're really a great company. They're not going to harass you, but they do send you some really great encouragement. So we could do that. In addition to that, when you sign up, if you follow the program, you finish the program, you write a little testimony. This is what it did for me. This is how I liked it. These are the benefits. Well, they've got some nice prizes. So if you look on this page right here, the first prize is 3 lucky winners and a guest along with their practitioner, that's us, will win an incredible trip to Wisconsin where they will visit the Standard Process Certified Organic Farm and Manufacturing Facility, which this is the only time that patients can ever go to the farm. Doctors can go, but they never allow patients except for this, and it's really a cool place. You get to enjoy lunch with the Standard Process thought leaders and spend 2 nights in one of Midwest's premier hotels. Winners will also enjoy activities such as golfing, premier restaurants, a spa treatment, and much, much more. So that's really cool. Second place is a Vitamix blender. Yay! Those are really nice blenders. So, but you don't have to have one of those. I'm just going to tell you, we have a NutriBullet. Every morning, that's what he uses. He just plugs it in his NutriBullet, and there he goes. And then third place is a meal delivery service card for $250. Kind of nice. 4th through 8th place is a Standard Process gift basket. So it's just a bunch of swag with supplements and bars and cups and just cool stuff. So I just want to encourage you with that. It's just a really cool thing. And I don't know how many people will go, that's, all over, but it's a cool thing to follow up with. And so, like I said, we're starting February 1st. What is today? I think that gives us, I should have checked this out before, almost 2 weeks from now. So in that time, what we will be doing is going to the grocery store, prepping our, what I like to do is just get my carrots, my celery, my veggies, cut up your carrots and celery, put them in a glass jar in the refrigerator with water. They're gonna stay fresh forever. Avocados, I just learned when you get avocados, they always go bad, right? It makes me so mad. And I tried it, and sure enough, it works. You immediately put them in a bowl, a glass bowl with water, stick them in the fridge. They don't turn at all. I've had them in there for 2 weeks. I took them out, they haven't even ripened. I'm like, shoot, I should have ripened them before I put them in there. So otherwise, I would have made my own guacamole. So there are things like that, right? You can start to get on Pinterest now and look at things. I even jumped on there just so I could say, hey, this is what you can find. And there was one lady on there who did the whole program, and she had her whole menu on there. She gave the recipes and even said, this one was a flop, don't make this one, or try this one. So it gives you some time to prep and be ready. And I also have another recipe that I will share. But if you want to do this, everybody that's here, if you give me your email, I will send you from Standard Process. It's like, goodness, I think it's 68 pages of recipes with pictures. I like pictures of my recipes. So I will email those to you, and that's just something that just comes for coming to class today. So I want you to finish that toxicity, and while you're doing that, write down any questions. We'll do a little Q&A after, and then we can talk about the different parts that you can get. Like, you can do chocolate, you can do all vanilla, you can do no flavor. You can do one that's dairy free. There are lots of options, which is on that sheet for you. And then we'll talk about the discount for today. So go ahead and take, I don't know, like 5 minutes or so and fill out that toxicity, and then we will answer Q&A